Hello everyone. Thank you for joining Irish Crochet Lab lessons. Our next lesson, or today's lesson, is continuation from the masterpieces of Irish Crochet Lace. We're on page 2021, and today we will crochet a small shamrock. In the book it's called Second Leaf. Here it is. And before I will continue with the lesson, of course, I will ask you, please don't forget to like my videos. And if you have questions, you can always comment under the video. You can comment right now during the video session, live session, or you can later, when you watch the same lesson in recording, you can send your questions through the by posting a comment under the video. I always will receive the question from you from YouTube, and this way I know you are watching, you actually crocheting, and if you have questions I will answer. So today we will go and we'll use thread that is a little bit thicker than normally we use. I would recommend for those of you who are struggling, especially those who struggle with crocheting over the padding cord, use a little bit thicker thread. I would go with number 10 and crochet with number 10 over 10. So for padding cord use number 10 and crochet with number 10. Try to use softer thread like Ant Lydia is okay, is good for learning. It's soft enough and it will be easy to crochet. But I will use my thread. Many of you asking me what kind of thread I use. This is beautiful. I want that thread. So right away I will repeat myself. This thread that you see in my video tutorials, this green shiny thread, it's silk. It's antique thread that I bought probably 10 or more than 10 years ago at the website that is called Vintage Pessimenti. This is a website that sells antiques, antique trims for millinery, for embroidery, all kinds of things. They have some thread, and as I believe they still have this thread, but not in this color. They have it in bronze, brown, and probably lighter green. So you can check out this website. It's vintagepessimenti.com. The same store they have on Etsy. You can find them there. So to buy it in the store, you cannot find it anywhere. It's antique. Equivalent of that thread could be by the size. DMC, it will be between DMC number 12 and 8, perle cotton. It's not exactly 8 and it's not exactly 12 in number, but the weight just between. But it's nice and thin enough to crochet motifs with. So this is what I will use in my lesson. Also, and I used with crochet this, using this thread, I used crochet hook 0.9 millimeters. But you can also, I will show you the difference. So this is fine thread, right? But I will show you the difference if you will make the same motif with thread number 100. The finest thread is available on the market, and crochet hook 0.5 millimeters. And you can see how little. I always compare smallest motifs by placing them on my fingernail. You can see how small it is. Very little, tiny motif. So, but when you're learning, even with my experience crocheting, I never try and start crocheting with fine thread my first motifs. I always try them new motifs with thicker thread, just to learn the pattern, to see the tricks about it, and also see how I can change it to make it easier. Sometimes it's sometimes you read the pattern and you make something, and throughout the lesson, throughout for you, throughout my lessons, or if you're learning from some books, you could see how you can make it easier. So you can change a little bit that pattern. You can change it to make it easier to crochet for you. Because I believe that if you experience crocheter, you can come to that level of crochet where you can make some changes to the pattern. So welcome to everyone who just joined me. It's Elizabeth from Colorado, no, from Ohio, I'm sorry, Lori from Colorado, and Valentina from Belarus. Welcome, ladies. I'm glad you joined me. Even it's only three of us. There's actually four people, but I don't know who is the fourth one because the person did not introduce itself. So when you come to my video lessons, live lessons, you can say your name, where you're from. It's always interesting for me to know where people are coming from to view my lessons. So this is our goal for today. Hello from Germany. Hello. Also, I want to tell everyone that my website, for those of you who don't know, my website, Irish Crochet Lab, is closed. And for now, I give lessons here on YouTube channel. So please subscribe to my channel. For now, I have lessons only once a week, every Thursday at 12 o'clock. And for now, we are finishing, we continue, and actually we're almost finished with motif from the book Masterpieces of Irish Crochet Lace. This is, I cannot fit in the camera the whole entire book, but this is how it looks like. So we are on page 2021 today, and we will crochet a shamrock or second leaf. So, okay, let's continue our lesson. Let's crochet. So pick up the cut thread number 10 for padding cord. In the book, they use single cord. I will use double cord. I like when it's a little bit thicker, but it's up to you. If you want single cord, use single cord. That's just perfectly fine. Also, I would add to my work a totally different color thread number 10 as a padding cord, and what I will do, fold your padding cord that you will use, your main padding cord, of the same color as your working thread. So my thread, green thread of the padding cord, almost the same, little bit different shade of the thread that I pick up to crochet my motif. So the other color of padding cord, I will take that one end and insert into the loop. When you fold your padding cord in half, insert the other padding cord through that loop. Put two ends together, and this is how it will look like. Two loops connected. The reason I do that, it's easier to crochet when you have something on this side, easier to hold when you crochet over the padding cord. So this is what I will do. And now you can take your thread and hold in your working thread and padding cord in this way together. We will start crochet. So at first we will go and make our first slip stitch. We'll connect our working thread to the padding cord with a slip stitch, and after that we have to follow our pattern. According to the pattern, we have to make one single crochet over the padding cord. Here it is, 1 single crochet. And so it's not easy to crochet if I will not have this additional padding cord. If you're experienced crocheter, you can do that. If you're learning, I would recommend to do this a little technique by adding another padding cord to the end. And don't mind that you will have a little loop right here at the beginning. Loop of the padding cord. At the end of your work, you will not see this. It will disappear. It will be behind this little button that we will add at the end. Okay, now I would like you to pay very close attention. Let me zoom a little bit for you that you could see better what I'm going to do. According to the book, to the pattern that we have in the book, we have to take this padding cord and bend it, creating a loop. So you pick up your padding cord and create the loop. Overlap from left to right, like this. And we will crochet over this part, over this loop, around 17 single crochet stitches. So again, it's easy for me, for example, to hold it like that, but probably you will find it easier way to do that. So I folded my padding cord, creating a loop. And I know it's probably confusing to see what I'm doing. I'm trying to position my hands to hold that. You see how let me, just a second. I actually zoomed it that you will see what I will do, but at the same time you don't see all my hands. Why I have additional padding cord. So I will have my thread ready. And then this additional padding cord, why I added, because it's easier to crochet. I just go and wrap this thread around my pinky of my right hand, and it's easier to hold for me this part of the work. You see how it works? When you have this leverage, when you have this thread, it's easier to crochet. And now I'm ready to make my loop of a padding cord, and crochet over this 17 single crochet stitches. So this is how it will look like. So crochet over this piece 17 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I will stop for a second. So crochet like half of stitches. Let's remember I have 8. I will change the size of this loop. I already know the size, what it's supposed to be, because I already made few of them. And you can, of course, you can see that 7 took very little, and this will be, we still need 10. It will be too much. It will be too long of a piece. So what I'm going to do, I will pick up this padding cord, holding with fingers right here. Pinch it right there, not too tight. Hold this and pull on a cord to make that loop, this loop, smaller. Because this is all I need. I don't need more stitches. It's easier to make the size of the loop that I use smaller when you have only half of the stitches. And later, if you see that it's a little bit too big of a loop, you still can change the size. But right now it's kind of, you can estimate, is this going to be enough? I would say it will be enough, and then later I will still have to make that loop slightly smaller. So we continue. You see how this padding cord that we bent it, we created a loop. This thread of the padding cord on top of this first stitch that we made. It's right here. And we're crocheting around the loop only. So I will continue. So you see now I don't need this anymore, but I still hold it, and you will see why. But now I continue crochet around the loop, so I really don't need this part of the padding cord, that additional. So I'll continue crochet. We had 8 stitches, now 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and the last stitch, 17. So I want you to see that. So here we are. So if I will move a little bit padding cord, right, you could see, let me grab my, you could see our first stitch, right here, our first stitch. Then we made a loop with the padding cord. And the padding cord, the way you made the loop will cover the first stitch. And we crocheted over the loop. We came with the loop to the first stitch here. But now we will have to make another single crochet stitch, this time over this padding cord right here, over this padding cord. So let's do that, and then we will take care of that loop. So 17 stitches over the loop, and then single crochet stitch over this padding cord. That could be a slightly difficult for some of you, but it's not a big deal. It's why I told you to pick up thicker thread to see your stitches better. So I made my single crochet stitch over the padding cord, and now I will still make this loop smaller by pulling on the padding cord. So that you will not mess up your work, I would recommend to hold here at the base of the loop and then pull on a padding cord. Make it smaller. And make sure that all your stitches are nice and tight. So this is how your first petal will look like. And still, if you go on the back, you could see this is our first stitch, very first stitch. And then we made a loop this direction, right? We turned our padding cord. I will show you again as I will do second and third leaf. And then we made 17 single crochet stitches over the loop, and then 1 single crochet stitch over the padding cord. Again, after this single crochet stitch over the padding cord here, again we will do the same thing. We will repeat what we just did now. We will repeat 2 more times. we will again take the padding cord and create the loop. It's probably easier. One more thing I forgot to tell you. Together with padding cord, we have the short tail that comes along with the padding cord, and it's short tail of the working thread. Since I crocheted around it one loop, one petal, I can cut that short tail. I don't need this anymore. And now I will crochet over the padding cord again, creating the loop like that. Did you notice how I folded from left to right so that your padding cord will cover this part right here, like this. I showed it a couple times in a slow motion, I would say. Okay, and now we will crochet again, single crochet stitches, 17 single crochet stitches around this loop. At first, keep this loop a little bit bigger. It's easy to change the size of it. So I'm folding it right now, and I will crochet 17 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. You can make only 5 stitches and change the size of your loop. And when you will make one, after this you can see what size of a loop supposed to be. 5 stitches or so. Hold your first stitches and pull on a padding cord. Make sure that if you use double cord, that those loops are the same size. So make the loop smaller. And continue crochet. I have a question. How long is the padding cord? Probably like 8 inches and fold in half, but it's easier to work with longer padding cord, easier to hold it all. You will cut whatever is not needed later. So you can easily pick up measure thread for padding cord like 16 inches, fold it in half. That's it. Of course, you still will have more padding cord left after that, but it's easier crochet when your padding cord is longer when you hold and work with your crochet. So I made my loops smaller. I will make it even more smaller. Now you see how they are the same, right? So I probably will not even have to make it smaller again. I think my size of the next loop the same as this one. All I have to do just continue crochet. Continue crochet with that loop. So we have 5 stitches. We need 17. So let's count 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, if you see that you cannot fit, all you have to do just move your stitches a little bit. All I need is just 2 more stitches here. 15, now 16 and 17. And now be careful, watch carefully what's going on, that you will not mess it up. So here's your first leaf, second petal, and now we have 17 stitches made over the loop, and one more stitch we need to make over this part right here into this padding cord. So before we'll make loop smaller, because it's stretched a little bit, first I will crochet one single crochet stitch over this padding cord right here. Right here. Make sure that this last stitch, this one single crochet, is tied here. Now I will stretch my last stitch so that I will not lose it, and look again very carefully to see if my petals are the same size. Slightly I can see it's bigger, this one, so I will pull again, holding together my stitches, pull on a padding cord. So this is how it will look like. Sometimes you could see, I don't know if you see on my work, let me zoom and show you. Sometimes that stitch, the single crochet stitch that you made, you can see the padding cord between the first stitch of the loop and between this last stitch. All you have to do, just pull a little bit on a padding cord, move your stitch closer. That's it, like that. And again, we're doing the same repetitive part of the pattern. Again, we will take a padding cord, fold it to create a loop, and crochet over the loop 17 single crochet stitches. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and of course I'll have to change the size of the loop. It's too big and it's not even easy to crochet this way. So changing the size of the loop, remember you have to hold your motif like that, cover this in the middle with 2 fingers of your right hand and pull on a padding cord, and your loop will get smaller. You see that? You see how much smaller it became? And then continue crochet. So you remember how many stitches were there. So we made 7, now 8. 9, 10. And I already know that it probably will be necessary to, you can pinch this, hold this part of the loop and move stitches to the right, smoosh them a little bit because you will not be able to fit all your stitches. So I have 10, 7 more. So I will finish the loop and crochet last stitch over this padding cord, over this part that in front of me right now. But for now we have to continue over the loop. Okay, 11, 12, 13, 15, 13, 14, I'm sorry, 15, 16 and 17 and 17. So after that I will make one single crochet over this padding cord right here. Like that. And make sure that the last stitch and between the first stitch of the loop you don't see that padding cord. So all you have to do, move your last stitch closer like that. And now let's look at our work, what we made. This is how it will look like. Don't worry about those petals. If you did everything correct and tight enough, this will be like that. This is on the back. So we still have to hold onto this stitch here. Okay. Not stitch, but padding cord. And you probably will not need it. I will hold on to this for a while. So now, in the book they ask to make chain 1 and turn your work. Hello, Jenny from Netherlands. We have some more people actually joined us. So thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. Welcome. Welcome to Irish Crochet Lab. Those of you who missed the first part of the lesson, you can always watch it in recording, and please don't forget to like my videos. Okay, now in the book they told us to make chain 1 and turn work and continue crochet over the padding cord 17 single crochet stitches. This time we're going to make stem of the shamrock. I honestly don't know why we have to turn. It's right here, right? So, and I did not see the need for the chain 1. So I just continue to crochet over the padding cord, only over the padding cord right now, 17 single crochet stitches. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. And here you can do two things. You can or leave the stem straight like it looked like, or you can make pull on a padding cord a little bit to make your stem curved, like I have in my shamrocks. And in the book, actually, if you look in the book, the stem also curved. It's not straight like a stick. I personally don't like when we crochet in Irish crochet, I like to have curves. So we have somebody from Argentina, Griselda. Hi, Griselda. And from Ireland, Valerie. Hello, Valerie. Hello, ladies. Thank you for joining me. So to have the stem look like a little curve, all you need to do, and I would say to do it now, pull on a padding cord. So hold the last stitches and pull a little bit. Not too much. You don't need too big of a curve. And you can already see, as you pull on a padding cord slightly, it becomes a curve. This is what you want. Now, at the end, make chain 1 chain 1, and turn your work. We will turn work and crochet into the stitches of the stem, inserting hook in both loops of the stitches, so in the front and into the back loops of stitches. To make it easier to crochet over the padding cord the next row, what I would recommend you to do, instead of zooming, I need to zoom out. I would recommend you to take your padding cord, fold it, and hold with the pinky for a while, like that. It's why I told you make your padding cord longer than just 16 inches even. Hello, Jean. So you see how I hold my hands. So I took my padding cord, folded to create this loop right here. Because if you will not, it's not very easy to crochet. It's possible, but it's not easy. You can always later, after you finish crocheting this row of stitches, you can later pull on a padding cord to remove this loop. And I'll show you how I do this. So chain 1 and 17 single crochet stitches over the padding cord, inserting the hook into both loops. In the book they say into both horizontal loops of the stitch, of the stitches. And if you want to see what I do, and this is how it will look like on the back. You can remove this loop already, but it's very easy to crochet this way. I'm just holding it, and I have this, I discovered this for myself just recently, how to hold this padding cord. I used to just fold the padding cord right here, and I never had that loop. But now I thought, why not to make this way? I can always pull on a cord later when I'm finished, when I will finish with the row, and just it will look nice. It's easy to crochet. Here's the back. At some point it's actually becoming not so comfortable, so you almost at the end. Now you can remove this. How do you remove that? Hold in your work, pull on a padding cord, and see what's happening. It's gone, right? And you can shape and help to keep your stem curved just by bending this. Just bend a little bit your stem and continue crochet. Now, as you noticed, I don't have anymore my I don't have anymore this loop. I don't need it there. And I can continue crochet over the stem. We still have 3 stitches. 3 stitches left here at the end. 3 or 4. 1, yeah, 3. 1, 2. And the last stitch. Now the last few stitches, I see that I have my padding cord showing on the back. I have to pull slightly. Like this. So here's your work. It look like that. So what we're going to do now, at the end, we will have to hold in that stem like that, or we can hold it like this. For me, it's easier just to hold the stem that it will not be on away. It's really tricky here. And flip my shamrock, all 3 leaves, facing me, facing me. And then we will have to find our very first stitch. And it's easy to see it from the back. Here it is. We need that stitch. This is why I kept this padding cord additional part, because it's easy to pull on it and see where the first stitch is. It's right there. Into this first stitch, we'll have to make slip stitch, and next slip stitch into the first stitch that we made over the loop. So slip stitch into the first single crochet stitch when we just started our work, and then another slip stitch into the first stitch of the loop. So remember that, okay? So let's do that. It's kind of tricky here because we have so much going on. Padding cord, this additional padding cord. After that, you could take this padding cord off, or you can take this padding cord off already. I will keep it and take it off after my slip stitches are done. I noticed that it's easier to make. So, and for a moment, you don't need padding cord. So here it is. Hold on a minute, let me figure out my work. Okay, so make sure all your leaves look like that with the right side on you, and make your slip stitch, first slip stitch, into the stitch next to that additional padding cord. It's easier to find. That's why I kept this for a long time. It's easy to find that way, that stitch. So we'll make slip stitch here. I lost it. Let me come back. I want you to see, but the stem jumping into my hands. So slip stitch and next slip stitch in the first stitch of the loop. It's right there. I hope I'm in the right place, yes. And another slip stitch, like that. That's it. So now I will stretch my last stitch. I will need my padding cord, of course, and at this point, after slip stitches are made, I can remove this additional padding cord that we used. All you have to do is just pull on it. That's it. So now turn again to the right side, facing you. Grab your last stitch, insert the hook there, and let's look at the motif one more time. Your stem will have tendency to curve like that. And this is what I actually like. I like that it's curved this way and I see this part of the stem. Notice how different the stem look like here and here. My favorite is the wrong side, and I left it in my in the book. They show you right side. In my shamrocks, I kept stem looking curved like that, and in such a way that you would see the wrong side of the padding of the stem. It does look really beautiful this way, to me personally. I like that part better. So let's continue. So now we will have two. So if you remember how we crocheted our shamrock, we will make, So first we were making 17 stitches, right? Now we will make 15 single crochet stitches around each petal over the padding cord, inserting the hook in both loops of stitches, and we will skip when we will make one petal. To transition to second and third, we will skip 3 stitches in the indentation. So we will skip the last stitch of the last stitch on the petal, first petal, the stitch that was made between, and the first stitch of the next petal, and again crochet 15 single crochet stitches, and again we will skip 3 stitches between second and third, and again we will make 15 single crochet stitches. We will make last slip stitch at the last stitch over there where the stem begins. We will cut thread, take care of our padding cord, and we will make decorative button to sew to the shamrock. Okay, so let's do that. I just jumped ahead to tell you what I'm going to do and how it will be done. So first leaf we already did. We made 2 slip stitches. Now over the padding cord, pick up your padding cord and crochet 15 single crochet stitches. Don't forget to insert the hook into both loops of stitches beneath. So first, so now we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me stop for a second. Make sure that this padding cord is removed by pulling on this one. Don't pull too much. And when you pull a little bit, then your shamrock will look like this. You can leave it this way. But later my will turn this way on its own. And I will use this side. You can keep it and leave it this way. I believe it's in a book this way. Yes, in a book this is how it look like. So let's just, you can do both ways, the way I did it. So when I will sew my button, I turn all my stems to show the back side of the stem. You can leave it the way it's in the book. Okay? And actually by pulling on a padding cord, this is what brings you your stitch, your stem, turning that like that. But my stems will turn naturally the other way. And I like it that way. So let's continue. So I have 7. I need 15. Now 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. One more stitch left. So before I go to the next petal, I want to see if on the back padding cord behaves well. So pull a little bit on your padding cord. It looks nice and neat on the back. This is how it will look like. So far, you can pull slightly, a little bit more, not too much. This is how it will look like. Now, remember I told you we need to skip 3 stitches. And I already zoomed enough, so let me see and show you this. So here we have the last stitch of the petal, then single crochet between petals, and we will skip the first stitch of the next petal. And again we'll crochet, inserting starting from the second stitch, 15 single crochet stitches. So we basically repeat the same pattern 2 more times. So don't forget to skip 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. And over the padding cord, I have to zoom out a little bit. Let's crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So you just continue crochet all your stitches there. I will stop to pull on a padding cord slightly because I could see it on the back and I don't want to see it on the back, even it's the wrong side, but still I like my work to see nice and neat on both sides. And sometimes you crochet motifs, you never know. Probably you would like to show the wrong side of motif, just like I like the wrong side of the stem. And it's not easy to crochet where this indentation, the thread is so fine and stitches are so little. I'm not sure if I counted right, but I feel like I need to. Okay, no, one more stitch here, one more stitch like that, and now I can skip 1, 2, 3 and into the stitch of the third petal, so I can continue and make 15 more stitches on a third petal. After, of course, I will pull on a padding cord a little bit to shape my shamrock a little bit better. And I'm sorry, let me fix my mini blinds. The light shining into the window, it's really sunny today. And you can see it, which probably not very good. Okay, let's continue. So I made 1 stitch, and now we will crochet 15 stitches over the last petal, and then we will make a last stitch, slip stitch, into the last stitch of the petal. So make sure you crochet very carefully not to lose your padding cord. I see somebody writing something. Let me see, let me read. Hello Linda, hello Barbara. I have more people joined. Linda said that I have started a project and would love to show you what I have made and with what thread I'm using. Yes, Linda, you can send your project to my messenger on Facebook, to my private account, or if you go to my Facebook page that have the same name as my website was, Irish Crochet Lab. It's a Facebook page where I post all information when my lessons are started, next lessons, what's new. You can send it there as with a photo, or you can email it to me, irishcrochetlab@gmail.com. I will be, of course, I'll be glad to see what you made. You really don't have to count those stitches. As soon as you know to skip in the middle 3 stitches, and at the end, you will have to make a slip stitch in your last stitch. So it's not very easy to see what's going on in here. I will zoom for you that you see what's going on in my crochet. All I'm doing is just finishing my last petal. Here it is. So I made all my 15 stitches and there's a last stitch left, last stitch of that petal. So what I will do first before I will, actually I can do it right now, it's not a big deal. I can make, and I don't need padding cord right now, I'll make my slip stitch right here. And we can cut thread off, because all we will have to do right now is, and after slip stitch you can just pull on that stitch and pull your thread out, it will not unravel. But before we go anywhere further, I will take my padding cord and pull a little bit to make sure that my last petal is shaped. Here's the shamrock or leaf. And this is how it looks like. So you can leave your shamrock this way, like in the book, facing the stem this way. This is the back of your work. Or you can, you see how easily it's turning to the other side, and you can see this beautiful stem. I just really like this. I really like the way it looks on the back, on the wrong side. This is, I will leave this way. So now we'll have to sew a little bit over this padding cord before we will cut it, right? So I turned my work to the back, to the wrong side. I'll pick up needle. I think I need more light for you. I think it's way better this way, right? So we'll pick up needle and we will weave in our last, the end of this. And of course we will sew over the padding cord a little bit, like a few millimeters, just to secure that padding cord in place. Just a moment, let me thread my needle. It's not easy. Okay, I need a different needle. The needle I used yesterday and I cannot find it. Okay, here it is. I have many needles, different lengths and different size, and for different thread I need different needles, so they all here in front of me. So the last stitch is made. We're on the wrong side of our work, and I always telling my students that don't cut your padding cord yet. I will just sew over this on the back very tightly, somewhere like in the middle. You will not see it, and only then I will cut the padding cord and weave in my thread, just to secure my padding cord, so that it will not unravel my hard work. So insert the needle in the stitches on the back and sew around the stem. I zoomed it, but then you don't see my hands very good, so I showed many times, so I think by now you all know what to do and how to do this. All I do on the very back, I sew over the padding cord somewhere like 5 millimeters, probably a little bit less. Make sure when you sew it, you sew tight, so you will hold your padding cord very tightly in place. That will be a guarantee that it will not go anywhere. And I'm sorry, sometimes my camera shakes. Shaking, because I hit this camera once in a while. My telephone hanging over my hands, it's very easy to do. Now I lost my needle or thread. Just a moment. Have to thread it again, because we're not done yet. So after you sew a little bit over the padding cord, like I just sewed over it like 5 millimeters, this is when you can cut that padding cord. You don't need this anymore. You are secured. You secured your padding cord very well by sewing over it. Now we have to just weave this thread. You can weave thread anywhere you want. I will go into this space where I was sewing over the padding cord, try to get through that part if it's easy, if it's not too tight. And if it is too tight, you remember what I use, right? I use little pliers for jewelry to help my needle to get through. And you can weave in your thread just about any way you want on the back, into the stitches on the back. And again, if you crochet like I'm crocheting right now with silk have tendency to move easily. So I weaved in one way and then I go in back the other direction, just to secure my thread. And this is when I can cut it off And we're done. We're done with the leaf. Now we need a button to decorate. So this is the right side, and if you like it the way in the book it is, like that, or you can turn your stem like I do. It's up to you. So now let's make a button. Button is also, we already went through how to make buttons. For button, you will need padding cord. They use, I believe, I'm trying to remember what they use. Yes, in the book they use triple cord. Triple cord. Since I was using double cord for my motif, for the button I will use my padding cord, fold it in half, and then again one more time you can make like this a loop. Basically you will crochet over the 4 strands. If you will, okay, I will show you one more time. So fold in half, again in half, and make this loop like that. When you make loop this way, it's easy to pull on this loop this direction and the other way to make a loop smaller or bigger. So again, fold in half, fold in half, then twist, twist, and here it is. You will crochet over this round like that. Okay, and then you can pull on each side of the padding cord to make this ring smaller or bigger. Okay, let me, before I go, I will read the questions or comments. You know, ladies, if you want to share with each other, just become friends on Facebook and share with each other the project. If you are in Irish Crochet Lab page, I'm not sure if you can post there. I allow my visitors to post pictures and make comments. I will check this again. If not, you can just become friends and share with each other. If you are part of my private Facebook Irish Crochet Lab video tutorials, you can freely post your projects there. So, okay, now we have to make a button. So I will one more time show you how I make a button a little bit thicker. You take your padding cord. I'm taking a little bit longer. This piece is, I will tell you, it's just easier to work with long piece. So it's 4 inches here, now 8, it's 16 inches long. I fold it in half, fold it in half, fold in half one more time, like this, and twist, twist, and here it is. This is your little button. You will make with this the round, or smaller or bigger by pulling. If you pull on this side, you see the loop is changing size, and on this side. We need to make 16 stitches, I believe, 16 single crochet stitches over the loop. So let's make that button. How to join it. Okay, now Just a moment, just a moment. I'm sorry. And I lost my hook. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, okay, and I'm not saying anything. So you connect your, you made this loop with padding cord. Now join slip stitch first to secure your thread, and then around this loop, crochet 16 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 12. You can see that it's already too big. I still need very little stitches, not a big amount of stitches. I have 12, I need only 4 more. It will be too big here, right? So I can already change the size of my button by pulling on those ends. On one end or both, it does not matter. So holding your ring, pull on the padding cord. And when you pull on a padding cord, it does not matter which side will be easier to maneuver here. So, like this. You see, it's got smaller. I just was pulling on one of those. Like this. So we need 4 more stitches. Let me finish. And I saw the question. I will tell you just a moment, ladies. I will explain how to join my private Facebook group. So I have 13, 14, 15, and 16. So when you finish, make sure that both ends of the padding cord facing you like this, and make a last stitch, or 2 or 1 stitch like that. A last stitch, and then slip stitch at the end. Slip stitch. You can cut your thread, but cut long enough piece to sew the button to the motif. And before you cut off this, you can cut freely, it will not go anywhere. Buttons are really good at staying intact. I will pull slightly, a little bit more, to make sure that it's tight enough here. What I do, just holding my button, pull on both ends, one direction and another. And then I can freely cut those ends off. We on the back, even it's the front of our work, you pull or turn your ends of the button to the front, and then you can cut them off. Close to stitches, but not too close, not to damage the button here. You would see a little bit of the padding cord here, but it's not a big deal because we will sew button this way, facing the wrong side. Like this. You can make the button a little bit thicker. You can make over 6 or 10 strands, make your button bigger, that's fine, absolutely fine. I will show you also another way of making button. I showed it before many times in many lessons, and this is how you make it. So I will just leave this button on the side. I will show you another way of doing button. Instead of using padding cord, you can take some small hook with the handle, round handle. This handle is around 4 millimeters or 5 or 4 millimeters. And what you do, you just wrap around thread as many times as you want, up to 20 times if you want your button to be thick. So here it is. This is how it looks, how it works. And you crochet over this button, over this coil of thread, single crochet stitches. One, two, three. And well, I'm counting, I don't know why. The reason that I'm counting, I just used to making these motifs, and you count because it's important to count stitches. But when you make buttons, you really don't need to count unless it says to count. I normally make my buttons without counting. I just make a coil of thread like this, like you see, and crochet as many single crochet stitches as I need tightly, to make sure that that coil of thread is not seen through the stitches, that it's quite tight here. So I crochet around it tight single crochet stitches, as many as I need to cover the coil of thread totally, as many as I can fit in here. Okay. And then when you're done, again, slip stitch, finish with a slip stitch, cut thread off, and that's it, your button is ready. Of course, this button is slightly bigger, look different, as you can see, and you can use whichever button you like. I will use this one. You can always measure and see which button looks better for you on your shamrock. This one a little bit too big, which still look nice, and this one smaller, like that. So let's sew the button to the shamrock. Let me remove the excess of thread, and this time I will need my perfect needle for this thread. I have, like I told you, different kind of needles, and I always recommend to use beading needles. This is the company Bead Buddy needles, Venus, the brand the Bead Buddy, and Venus. They used to sell those needles at Joann, but now I cannot find it at Joann. I never saw it for probably a year or more. Now they sell those needles at Amazon. You can find them there. So we'll thread the needle and we will sew the button. Buttons always look beautiful when you turn them to the wrong side. And make sure that your button right in the middle of your work. And all you have to do is just to sew. I always look when I sew facing my motif so that I see my button is not shifting anywhere. And since you crochet and sew with the same thread you crocheted, it's safe to sew this way because you can see exactly where the thread goes, and it's not damaging the look of your... Actually, I made a mistake here. It does not look good. I have to undo it just a second. Sorry. Inserted the thread in the wrong spot. even the same color, but it does not look good. So you have to be very, very careful when you sew your parts of the motif together. Quite tiny little guy, and you want it to look nice. So here it is. We go like that. So I see the front of my motif, and this is how I sew. And then go from the back to the front. Between stitches, you see the button has bumps, so I'm trying to insert my needle between those bumps. That way, when you go again between bumps, jumping over them, you basically covering the bump with the same color thread, and no one would see any difference what happened here, right? No one will see that you sewed something together. The same color thread, it's just perfect to sew this way. So you sew your button, and that will be it. So now somebody asked me how to join my private Facebook group. The group called Irish Crochet Lab Video Tutorials. Since I closed my website, I transferred all my video tutorials to that group. I actually transferred them a few years ago. So everything that was on the website, video tutorials, that more than 34 hours of videos, more than 160 motifs, patterns for motifs, projects are there in that group. To join this group and learn Irish crochet, traditional and modern Irish crochet, you can send me a request to my to my email, irishcrochetlab@gmail.com, and I will send you invoice from PayPal. The price of my video tutorials is $100. So if you want to join, all you have to do, just pay $100. I will send you invoice, and after I receive your payment, I will send you the link to my group to join it, and you can learn how to make Irish crochet lace, not just motifs, but how to connect motifs with netting. You will make few projects that are going to help you to start bigger projects. And in that group, we can discuss a lot of different things. If you have problems with making something, if you have questions for me personally, I am always available to answer your questions. So again, all you need to do, just send me your email that I want to join your Facebook group, and I will send you invoice, PayPal. You also can pay through Facebook. If you are I'm not sure, only if you are my friend. You can send me friend request if you wish, and pay through Facebook, but PayPal is my best option. Even if you pay through Facebook, it will still go to my PayPal account. I just prefer PayPal because it's safe for everyone. Because if I wasn't honest to you, the PayPal will always return you money. PayPal is very protective of our customers and people who hold businesses, so I trust PayPal for many years. I never had problems with them. And when I am shopping myself, I only prefer to use PayPal. Okay, so you can see now my button is sewed. It's ready. Now I can just go and weave in my thread, find a place to weave it in so that I will not lose this thread. Everything, remember, don't cut your thread right away. Like sometimes I see how ladies saw it many times. People will finish their crochet and cut thread just right to the last stitch they made, but not realizing that actually it can unravel. So I always weave in my thread to make sure that thread will not unravel my stitches. And weave in on the back of your work. Like that. And when it's done, you just cut your thread off. That's it. So, as you can see, you can have like that your motif, or keeping it this way. And when you sew button, actually make sure I didn't really do a good job right now to keeping it that way, but it will stay that way anyway. So here's our shamrock. Nice and pretty and little, tiny, very beautiful motif. And after you crochet this with a little bit thick thread like we used today, if you use number 10 to learn, to figure out how to make this motif, then later I could recommend you to go and crochet it with smaller thread, with tiny thread like I did. This is 100 thread, and I used crochet hook number 10. Oh, I'm so sorry. Crochet hook, I'm tired, I guess, saying nonsense. Crochet hook 0.5 millimeters for this little guy. You can see how much smaller it is. So let me give you the link to my Facebook page. Just a moment. This will be my, I used to call it business Facebook, but since I closed my website, it's not really business, but I guess. So this is a main page. Here's the link to. I just sent it here. You would see. You can save this right now, copy it, and go to Facebook, like that page, and you will receive notifications every time I post information about new lessons or new patterns or whatever it is. So you can send me messages also there at that page. Or you can send me a friend request if you want. Also, I will give you my email where you can send your request to join my private Facebook. And my email is Irish Crochet Lab at gmail.com. So this is my email. I also post it in comments, so you can also save it and send me emails. Let me see what comments we have. So Lori, those who already paid for video tutorials, I have a lot of people who purchased my lessons 5 years ago, 3 years ago, even months ago or 2 months ago. They have access to the group Irish Crochet Lab video tutorials. This group is visible and you can join only if you paid. If I don't see you as if I did not accept your request to join, please remind me with email that, but you have to tell me when you paid. Will be nice if you would send me your PayPal receipt, or just at least tell me what months you paid and your name on that receipt. Because sometimes people pay with their husband's PayPal account. And I have two different names. I cannot find you anywhere. And I'm thinking of you that you are not my paid customer. So you cannot access the lessons. So if you before paid for my lessons, it doesn't matter what price you paid because I had those lessons before on sale for many times. So no matter what, you are still can be a member of Irish Crochet Lab video tutorials Facebook group. Okay? And those of you who didn't pay before but want to become part of my private group, you will have to make that payment. And it's one-time payment. You don't have to renew your membership to the Facebook group. You just pay one time, you join my group, and you will have access to all video tutorials. As I said, it's more than 34 hours of videos. You will have access to videos. You will have access to all files and crochet patterns, more than 160, I think it's like 164 motifs, as I remember. But in the group, actually, I have more information than I even had on my website. You will have in that group information about thread, information about crochet hooks, information about how to use different colors, inspirational albums for Irish Crochet Lace. So, and you can always contact me. This is what is good about it when you learn something and you stumble somewhere, you don't understand how to make something. In that group, you can send me a message or make a post with a picture of your crochet and show me this is something does not look right. So can you look at it and tell me where I made a mistake? I will be always glad to help you and explain to you what and how and why and how to fix mistake and where to find the correct video to watch to fix mistakes or just any questions you have about Irish crochet video tutorials. Okay, so if I missed any questions, let me see quickly. So ladies, you cannot find where to post on Irish Crochet Lab. Okay. I probably disabled that option for people to post because long ago I had problems of people posting spam, and I think I disabled that. Just send it to me, send your project to me as a message if you want to share with me. If you want to share with each other, make sure to invite each other on Facebook as a friend, become friends, and share with each other. This will be the best option. Well, ladies, this is all for today. All my lesson is done. Crochet this beautiful motif. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And our next lesson again next Thursday at 12 o'clock. We will crochet next motif from Masterpieces of Irish Crochet Lace. And it will be on the same page 2021. This is the motif that we will make next time. And then very soon we will finish with all motifs, and I will try to make live video tutorials a little bit more often than just once a week. We will crochet some projects together. And also we still have to continue our lessons on Japanese book 128 motifs. So I will of course continue. Those of you who remember who started back in April or May, I had 2 lessons twice a week. And now I am making only one book, and then when we finish with these masterpieces, we will go into the Japanese book, 128 motifs. Okay, ladies, this is it for today. I see no more questions you have for me. So if you want to post something, for send me and share with me your project, you can only send me a message on Irish Crochet Lab Facebook page, or send me friend request and post your send it to me privately in my messenger, or just send me an email with your pictures of your project. Okay, Linda, thank you. Yes, send me your pictures. I'll be glad to see it and make comments and give you advice. That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining me today. Next lesson, Thursday, next week at 12 o'clock again. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Stay safe. Don't get sick. Stay healthy. I'll talk to you next week. Goodbye.